whispered logic puzzles. Thank you for joining me. I'm Andrea, and I'm going to continue on the Pictopix mosaic. On the second mosaic, the 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th row. So we'll do the first 3 puzzles of the 5th row. This is a 15 by 15, and I'm going to start. I see these rows have 0, so I'm just going to put X's across them. Okay, so this row has a 9. Since this is 15, first I'll think, okay, if I started right here, it'd be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If I started over here, it'd be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then this column starts with a 1, so I can put an X. This column starts with a 1, so I can put an X. This column starts with a 2, so I have 1, 2, and then an X. And then looking at this next row, it's 7. Well, the 7 starts here, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that finishes that row. Then if I look over here, this starts with a 3. There's only 3 in here, so I do 1, 2, 3. Okay, looking back at the rows, this row is 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this row is 3. So I have 1, 2, 3. I finished this row. Okay. I'm going to come down here where I see this row has 13. So this would be 5, 10, 11, 12, 13. If I started from this side, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Okay, this row is 9, so this section would be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If it started over here, it'd be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This row is also 9. So again, if it started over here, it would be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If it started over here, it'd be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, looking in this column, it started with a 1 and then it has a 3. So I can put X's above and an X below. This column is complete. This column is complete. And now with those being complete, I look over here and I see this row starts with a 7. Well, I only have 7 spots here, so I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now I see this column is complete. This column has a 3 and then a 1. This has to be part of the 3. These can't connect or be a 4. So this is the 1. And if the 3 started here, it'd go 1, 2, 3. If it starts here, it'll go 1, 2, 3. So I can put an X right there. This column has a 2 and then a 1. So I can put X's around this 1. And if this is 1, 2, or 1, 2, this row of 9, so I'm going to put X's around it. This column was 3, then 2, so 1, 2. That finishes this row. And now I see that this second 3 goes 1, 2, 3. Put an X right here. And this 9 right here starts here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That finishes this row. This column has 4, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4. This column has a 4, then a 1, so I'll do the 1, 2, 3, 4, X, and then a 1. This row has 3, so I'll do 1, 2, 3. This row is complete. This column ends with a 1. This column ends with a 1. And then this has a 3, so I'll connect these for 3. This has a 3, so I'll connect those for 3. This 13, I have 12, the little 13. Okay, 7, 2, then 1, there's the 7. The 2 has to be in here, so 1, 2, which finishes both of these columns. And the 1 will be somewhere over here. This row is done. This column ends with 2. I'll go 1, 2. This row is done. And this row has 1, 2, 3. And there we go. We finished the first Nonogram Pictopix puzzle. So let's go to the second one. Okay. Let's look at the top. There's 11 here. So this was 5 and 10. This would be 11. If we started on this side, we'd have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So now, where I start at the top, I can look down. This column starts with a 1, so I'll do an X. This column starts with a 1, so I'll do an X. This column starts with a 1, so I'll do an X. This column starts with a 1, so I'll do an X. This column starts with 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then an X. This column starts with a 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then an X. This column has 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then X's to finish the column. This row has 2 sets of 3, so this 3 I can put an X in front of. The other 3 could be over here or over here. This row is 15, so the whole row is full. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I don't know whether this is the top thing this is part of a 2, so I'll do 1, 2, and then an X. And this column is part of a 2, so 1, 2, and an X. This column is part of a 2, so 1, 2, and an X. And this column is part of a 2, so 1, 2, and an X. Okay, this row is complete. This row has 14. So we did this first section of 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. If it started over here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. In this column, this is a 1, so I'll put an X. In this column, it's a 1, so I'll put an X. In this column, it's a 1, so I'll put an X. This column, it's a 1, so I'll put an X. And let's see, in this column, it's a 1, so I'll put an X. This row has 3, 1, 1, 4. This is a 1, but I only have space for 4 over here, so I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I know that this is also a 1, and then here's the 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I'm coming over here, because I see this has a 1 and then a 2. Now originally it could have been 1, and then 2, but since there's 2 down here, this is the 1 and this is the 2, so I'll put an X, X, and X's. Same thing, well, not necessarily. Well, yes, because this 11 now starts here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and over here X's. That means this has to be the 1, so X and X. And this is a 2. This is a 1, X, X. And this is part of a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and an X. And over here it starts with 1, so X, X. The 4 could start here. If it does, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. And I don't know, because if it starts there, it'll go down here, so I'm not going to put an X down there. This row ends with 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and an X. And then the other parts are 1, so I'll just put X's around here. And this row is complete, so I'm just going to go ahead and put X's in here. Okay, let's look up here. This 9 starts here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and X's. This column starts with 3, so 1, 2, 3, and then has 2, which would be 1, 2, which finishes this row. This column starts with 3, 1, 2, 3. This column starts with 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now over here, I know that this 4 starts here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then an X. This row ends with a 3, so 1, 2, 3, this is a 1, so I'll put an X right there. And this row, there are 5s. Since there's an X right here, 5 starts here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then X's. And over here, this 5 starts here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then X. Okay, this column, I have the 1, 2. This is part of a 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then an X. It ends with a 2, and I only have 2 left, so 1, 2. This row ends with 2. I can't fit 2 over here, so this is an X, and this will be 1, 2. And I can put X's over to here because that's already an X. This 5, if it starts here, it'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If it starts here, then we'll go to there. So this column is complete. In this column, this is part of a 3, so 1, 2, 3. X's complete. In this column, it's part of a 2, so 1, 2, and X's since this column is complete. And in this row, it starts with a 3, so 1, 2, 3. This row start with a 7, so I can put an X right here. This row is a 5, so I can put an X right here. Actually, with this being a 5, if it started here, it'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If it started here, it would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I know these have to be X's. This column is complete. This column ends with a 2, so 1, 2, and then has a single 1 right there. And now this row is complete. Okay. This column ends with a 3, and there's only 3 space down here, so 1, 2, 3. That means this 5 just needs this 1 less highlight. Now this column is complete. This column ends with 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This column ends with 3, so 1, 2, 3. This column ends with a 2, and I only have spots for 2, so 1, 2. Now this row is complete, and this row, this is a 7. So do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we finished the second puzzle. So let's go ahead and do one more. I'm going to start out with, I see some rows or zeros, so I'm just going to put the X's across. X across, and X across. And this column is 0, so I'm going to put X's down. Okay. This column has a 1 and then a 7. Down here, there's exactly 7 spaces. So do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now this row is complete. This row is complete. This row is complete. This row starts with 1, so I'll put an X. This row starts with 1, so I'll put an X. This row starts with 1, so I'll put an X. And this row starts with 1, so I'll put an X. Okay, let's see. It says a 1, a 1, and then a 2. So the first one would be up here. If the second one, X, 1, 2. So this has to be the second one. I'll put an X. And 1, 2. Now looking at this row ends with a 1, so I'll put an X. This row ends with a 1, so I'll put an X. This row ends with 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and completes that. In this column, I have 2 individual ones, so this has an X. And I'm not sure the order in these, so I can't do that yet. Let's see, this row, 2, 2, 1, 4. So 4 plus 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7, plus 2 is 9, then we have 10, 11, 12. Well, we have exactly 12 spots right here, so I don't know if it starts over here or over here. The one thing I do know is that since this row all added together is 12, that's how about be 5, 10, 11, 12. This spot right here, I have to highlight, because it could be the end of the 4, but it could also be the end of the 4 if it started over here. And now this is part of a 1, and that makes this part of a 2, so 1, 2, finishes this column. And then this row has a 4, so if the 4 starts here, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. If it starts here, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4. But I can put X's over there. In this column, I see that these are individual ones, so I'll put an X. And in this column, I'll put an X. And now looking in this row, I'm only missing a 4. I can't fit that in here, so I'll put an X. If the 4 started here, it would go 1, 2, 3, 4. If it started here, it would go 1, 2, 3, 4. In this column, there's just individual ones. In this column, it's a 2, so 1, 2, and this column's complete. And now this row, I have a 3. It starts right here, so we'll